Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So today is Thursday, which means it's BookList Thursday, which is something I do with Sarah over at Sarah's Nightstand. We come to you every Thursday with some sort of book thoughts, ideas, recommendations, something bookish related. So before we get started, we are experiencing quite the storm at the moment, so lighting is a little interesting right now, and you might hear some thunder. So, I mean, I'll take it. I will take a good summer storm. I love them. So, okay, that has nothing to do with our theme for today. So today is, how did we come up with this theme? I'm not even sure. I want to say we were brainstorming and I happened to be in the drive-thru getting some coffee and I was kind of like, well, what if we did like coffee and book recommendations, or like book recommendations based on what your coffee order is. I threw it out there like, okay, this could be something, you know, it's probably nothing. And then it was like, well, yeah, we could do that. We could totally do that. So that's what we have. So we're going to give you book recommendations based on your Starbucks order. So I have 5 orders that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about books I'm going to recommend that I've read, and then books I think that would tie really nicely with your Starbucks order as well. So yeah, let's just go with it and see what happens. Okay, so for my first drink, we're going to go with the classic. It is the time for pumpkin spice everything to come back. So pumpkin spice latte is my first drink. So if you happen to be ordering that at this time of year, you're probably ready for fall. You're probably all prepped for back to school. Not me. And you're just ready for that season, that change. So my recommendation is going to be Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. This follows a bunch of parents, and I believe all of their kids, I want to say are in kindergarten, first grade, something like that. Main character is Jane. She's a single mom. She just moved to this new place. She's mistaken as the nanny, but kind of gets herself involved with this group of moms that is full of drama. There is a murder, a tragic accident, or is it just parents behaving badly? It's fantastic. I love it. And then you can watch the series. Is it on Hulu, I think? All good, all good. So that's my recommendation of one that I've read. If for one that I haven't read, I have Class Mom by Lori Gelman, which I'm so needing to get to. I've heard really, really great things about this. So we have Jen Dixon. She's not your typical class mom or a mom in general. She already has 2 college-age daughters, and they have moved on. And it's her second time coming in and around the block with her 5-year-old son named Max, which happens to be my son's name. I kind of was, you know, I don't know if he was a surprise or whatnot, but they're kind of starting all over. So she's already done this whole thing. She's back in for round 2 with her son, and here's all the drama. And she's not really there for it, but I've heard this is quite funny. So that's what I would pick up. All right, next one I want to talk about is for my cold brew fans. I've had one cold brew and I really enjoyed it. I should probably give it a try again. But for those that love a good cold brew, I'm thinking more atmospheric. So like No Exit. Very cold, very atmospheric book because you're in the midst of a snowstorm and this girl is, our main character is trying to get home to her mom who is very, very sick, and she's driving and cannot even go any further because this storm, this blizzard is so bad. So she pulls over into a wayside where there is a building. There are, I think, 4 other adults there also waiting out the storm. And so she's, you know, she has no other choice but to kind of join in with them. They're all strangers. She's trying to get a cell phone signal to give a heads up that like she's trying to get to her mom. She's hoping everything's fine and she can get there. So she goes outside to try to make the call, and when she's walking back in, she notices there's a girl who is locked in a cage in the back of one of the vehicles out in this horrible storm. And she realizes one of the 4 people inside has kidnapped this girl. And now what? So it's fantastic. So atmospheric. You can like feel the blizzard. It's crazy. So for a book that I haven't read, I think Shiver by Allie Reynolds would go really nicely. And this is one of my Once Upon a Book Club books. So I have all these little gifts I get to open as I read through the book. But this one, it says, a reunion weekend in the French Alps turns deadly as 5 friends discover that someone has stranded them at a remote mountain resort during a snowstorm. Again, giving you that atmospheric feel, that we're stuck here, we're in a storm, what's gonna happen? So that would be for my cold brew friends. Next one is an iced caramel macchiato, which this one is my drink of choice. When I'm going through, that is what I get 99% of the time. And so it's reliable. It's something I look forward to. It's something I think about. It's my thing. So I'm I was trying to think about like what kind of books are my thing. And I love any book that sticks with you to the point where you think of either a lesson you learned or a quote from that book or some different viewpoint that just sticks with you is kind of my go-to. So for that, I'm gonna go with The Shack by William Paul Young. This is about a father whose youngest daughter was abducted during a vacation that they were on, and there's evidence that she was brutally murdered in this shack that's deep in the woods. And so where years later, he's still really struggling with this. He ends up happens to be home for a weekend by himself. His wife and the other kids are gone. And he gets a note in the mailbox, apparently from God, inviting him back to that shack for the weekend. He ends up going. And he meets God. And there are so many pieces. I need to actually go through and read it again. The first one I read was, I borrowed the copy from my aunt, and she annotated it, which was great to see kind of what she highlighted or wrote about or whatever. I need to go through now that I have my own copy and find those passages that still sit with me, and one of them, a big one about forgiveness. It's such a fantastic book. It sticks with me. So as far as a book I haven't read yet that I think will stick with me, that's hard for me to figure out because I have no clue. You just don't know when one of those books is going to come along. So I don't have a suggestion for that. I'm sure there'll be one, but I don't have one now. Next drink would be kind of my second go-to, and I only get this around Christmas, is a white chocolate peppermint mocha. So good. And because I get that around the holiday season, I think of holiday books. And so the first one I would pair up with that is Comfort and Joy by Kristen Hanna. Very short, but very impactful holiday book. So it's Christmas time. Follows our main character, Joy. She's recently divorced, estranged from her sister, kind of on her own, a little depressed, not looking forward to the holiday. So she, very on a whim, buys a ticket and boards a plane bound for the rural Northwest, and the plane crashes. And she decides, what if I just walk away from this crash site? And just walk away from everything. And it talks about what happens when she does. And it's fantastic. For a book I haven't read, I have Mr. Dickens and His Carol by Samantha Silva. I really wanted to read this last year around Christmas. I just didn't get to it. It is one of the Christmas book exchanges that I got. And I don't remember which. I want to say Krista gave it to me, but I could be wrong. It says, Charles Dickens is not feeling the Christmas spirit. His newest book is an utter flop. The critics have turned against him. Relatives near and far hound him for money. While his wife plans a lavish holiday party for the ever-expanding family and circle of friends, Dickens has visions of the poorhouse. But when his publishers try to blackmail him into writing a Christmas book to save them all from financial ruin, he refuses, and a serious bout of writer's block sets in. I like it. All right, so the last drink I want to talk about is the drink of choice for my daughters. Pretty much anything pink. The actual pink drink, the strawberry refresher. I believe one of them got the unicorn drink once. Anything like that. They love those fancy drinks. Although my one likes the caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino, so I think you get what I'm saying. Like, the ones that are a little spruced up. And so for that one, I'm going on like more of a lighter, maybe whimsical type of a book recommendation. First one would be the Nevermore series. This happens to be Wondersmith, the second book. So the Nevermore series follows our character Morgan Crow. It is a middle grade fantasy series, as Morgan Crow is basically facing death because she is like destined to die at her 11th birthday. And this man named Juniper basically comes and says, okay, you can either stay here and die or you can come with me to Nevermore and live. So she goes to Nevermore, she goes to school, it's a magical place that has it's fantastic. It just takes you out of reality for a little bit. And I loved it. For a book I haven't read, but I've also heard is very, very sweet, like the drink, and just a light book is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. So this follows Lena. She's spending the summer in Tuscany, but she isn't in the mood for Italy's famous sunshine and fairy tale landscape. She's only there because it's her mother's dying wish that she gets to know her father. But what kind of father isn't around for 16 years, and all Lena wants to do is go back home. So it just sounds maybe not so light, but I've heard really, really great things about this one. Let's see. She's given a journal that her mom had kept when she lived in Italy, and she's uncovering a magical world of secret romances, art, and hidden bakeries. A world that inspires her, along with the ever so charming Wren, to follow into her mother's footsteps and unearth a secret that has been kept from her far too long. It's a secret that will change everything Lena knew about her mother, her father, and even herself. People come to Italy for love and gelato, and someone tells her, but sometimes they discover much more. So those are my suggestions. That's what I think we should read when you're fulfilling your Starbucks order. Take it or leave it. It's just a fun thing to do. But it was like when I was thinking about this, I'm like, okay, well it just kind of makes sense. Anyways, if you've read any of these or want to chat about any of these, comment below. Otherwise, tell me your favorite Starbucks drink, because I should probably explore outside of my iced caramel macchiato one of these times. Otherwise, hop over to Sarah's channel and see what she has for us today. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So today is BookList Thursday, and